podcast. Today, we are diving into the connection between mindfulness and daily commutes with insights from industry leaders. I'm Deepa Mehra, your host, and as a passionate yoga and meditation enthusiast, I am thrilled to explore these themes with you. At CT, our mission is to create a stress-free life for everyone in our ecosystem. We specialize in managed mobility services designed to ease the load on facility heads by managing known core transport functions. This not only reduces stress, but also ensures a smooth and seamless commute for all. So thank you for joining us. I'm excited for today's discussion on making daily commutes more mindful and less stressful for everyone involved. So let me welcome Mr. Supratim Roy, a distinguished hotel management graduate and seasoned procurement professional with over 2 decades of experience. Currently, with SDI International, Mr. Roy has held pivotal roles in procurement for industry giants like Infosys, Dupont, Honeywell, and Genpact. And also recently, he has been awarded by top 10 procurement professionals. Wow, that's great. So now, Mr. Supratim, for our viewers and listeners, could you please share a brief introduction of yourself?
Thank you, Deepa. That's a very nice introduction that you've already given. So I have been working from 2003, and I am lucky that I have worked with the best in the industry. I have learned procurement on the way. So I was not learning it in the college or in the academic sense. I did it with my job and on-the-job training. So I worked with the best of the team. I have worked with where innovation is must, where things are valued as to what you bring on the table. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and hoping to have a good discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Roy, for that insightful introduction. It's clear that your extensive experience and leadership as procurement have played a crucial role in shaping the strategies of some of the biggest names in the industry. So I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about your journey and the valuable lessons you have earned along the way. Let's dive deeper into your experiences and the impact of effective procurement strategies in today's business landscape. So before we start the talk, I would like to welcome Mr. Sachin Agrawal, our most active and visionary co-founder, CEO, to this podcast for an insightful conversation. So Mr. Sachin, can we have also a brief introduction for our viewers and listeners?
Thank you, Deepa, and thank you, Supratim, for joining us for this podcast. Really excited for the conversation with you. So I'll try and keep it really short. Last 25 years of my various jobs that I've been in, I think I've been passionately working over last these so many years. I've been part of consumer durables and I've been part of service industry for the last 1.5 decade now. And I don't see much of a change while building, while I was in job vis-a-vis, I'm building Consulttrans today for the last 3 years for the simple reason that, wherever I have worked, even during my employment, I've enjoyed a lot of authority, right? And drove businesses with passion. And that's what we are doing in Consulttrans as well for the last 3 years. Good. Good, Pratim. Happy to have you here with us. What I wanted to understand from you is, as we see that you come from the hotel management background, and now in the last 4.5 decade, you've been into procurement role with managing multiple categories and across various industries. So when and why this change, and what made you think that procurement is the best line for you?
Okay, so we'll have to start with my first job. So my first job was in Gurgaon, Delhi. I was working for a company called Vertex, and I was working for a company called lastminute.com. So lastminute.com is a UK-based travel website. And we used to deal in hotels like relocation and supplier management. So my change from hotel was very generic in that nature, that I was still part of something that was related to hotel. I was still doing something that was related to hotel, but it was not entirely the hotel thing. So in 2003, when I started off, hotel industry used to be not, it still is not, in that sense that the the labor is not valued that much. That's what I felt. So you work a lot, you do a lot of things and all, but you don't get that kind of result. That's my personal view, and that is one of the reasons why I wanted to switch. And I switched. So the switch was also very generic, as I said. It was not a big step in that sense that I was not changing the entire thing. It was just that I was going from a virtual thing, from a physical point of view. So the last minute was a transition in that sense. And then once I went there, I started off procurement in Dupont, carried on, and I saw that this is one of the good things to do in procurement and sourcing, where you manage the supplier, you manage the stakeholders as well. So that was the initial starting point. Then there I started negotiating with the vendors, and I started liking it, how negotiation happens, how it is a to and fro game. And you learn a lot of things from suppliers as well as your stakeholders. And then I knew that procurement is driven by categories. So procurement is like you have certain categories into it. You have travel there, you have IT there. I was lucky that I got involved into marketing. So I started buying all these ad agencies and events and gifts and all that. And I started liking it so much that I said, okay, I can continue this. And it grew and it grew. And I've been doing it for let's say 17 years, 16, 17 years now. So long story, but yeah, that's how it has evolved.
Yeah, fantastic. Good to hear that, Supratik. So, as we see, you bring in diverse portfolios within procurement, and as we discussed, across multiple industries. So it's not just one industry. You've been into manufacturing, you've been into IT. So how do you think, while having handled multiple categories within procurement, how do you think transport or travel is different from the rest of it? While managing the procurement function for travel and transport, how do you think they are different from the rest of the categories that you've handled or you've been handling?
Right. So it is up to the major differentiator that I would say is the scale of the business. So what kind of travel are we talking about? Let's say. So if you have a global company, for example, and then your scale would be different from something which is very local in sense. Okay. And then, of course, how much of that is also at the travel part of it. So let's say I was working for a Australian banking company at one point of time, and they had a very global kind of presence all over the world, and they had a lot of travel that was going on, right? So they had divided their category into majorly three things. One was the airlines, the hotels, and the ground transport, right? So because they had a lot of global offices, they had a lot of travel via airlines. And it used to be like the business class, and the focus was onto the airlines part of it. And then the hotel, obviously, when you go there, you'll have to stay somewhere. So you have the hotel part. And then the ground transport. What ground transport we typically understand for India is mainly the ground transport for the employees for the daily commute, right? But for the Westerners or the other countries, it is majorly the car hires. So we used to do a lot of car hiring negotiations as well. And if you are talking about, let's say, a company in India or typically a manufacturing base, it will not be a very car rental kind of thing. It would be more like a transport on a daily basis, where the focus is onto the employee safety, how the employee gets to the office and how he goes back, and the utility of how you manage the show with minimum resources, let's say, or you're less spent. So there is a difference between how you see as to how the global company works and how a local company might work. So this is majorly the scale that defines the spend in my sense.
Fantastic. So we touched upon airlines, we touched upon ground transport, we touched upon hotel, and we also touched about car hiring. And car hiring is something which is more of a global thing. It does happen in India also, but if you talk about scale, India is primarily the ground transportation or the daily commute aspect of it, right? And it is really big. Uh, as an organization, we are trying to do our bit in terms of how we could add value. We see huge potential even post-COVID in the last 3 to 4 years. How this industry has grown, or how this industry is growing, and how does the future look like with the technology coming in? A lot of large players, the professional companies coming in, and we came out with this model called which we call it as a managed mobility, right? So we typically, when you look at FM and when you look at any real estate service, and when you engage with a company like CBRE or JLL or ISS, so we are trying to replicate the same model in transport, right? So, and we see huge potential. We're excited about the opportunity that we have in India, as well as ground transport or employee transport.
Right.
Fantastic. So great insight. So first and foremost is to make sure for your internal customer to involve the procurement or you at the right time, right?
Right.
And once the demand is understood, the scope is defined by procurement in consultation with the internal, so-called internal customer. Then, as you rightly said, the role of procurement is more of a strategic role, and you will try and identify and find the right partner who can be good at a tactical level, right? That's what the expectation is, and you try and ensure that both of them, whether it is supplier or your internal customer, uh, are introduced to each other in such a manner that there is a balance and there's a win-win for everyone, right? Whether you go for a single vendor approach or you go for a multiple vendor approach, I think strategically the thought process and the approach remains the same, right? And then you get into the detailing part of it as to what is the scale, what is the volume of the category that we are handling. Can that be handled by a single service provider, or there are players like that, strong enough players like that available in the market, or the requirement should be split into multiple suppliers? And then, of course, the sustainability aspect of it, and the cost savings aspect, the value that these suppliers can bring in over and above what the scope talks about, right? That's how you look at the
even the ease
function.
of process, like I said,
Ease of doing business, ease of
right.
process. Fantastic. So just to add, Supratim, we spoke about Consulttrans, and we are someone who do not believe in offering X number of vehicles when you talk about an environment of employee transportation or car rental services. And we certainly do not take contracts wherein the ask is just about adding vehicles, right? We are excited to understand the problem statement of the customer, right? So be it procurement, be it the leadership, be it the internal customer of yours, and try and build a solution around it, right? So that's the approach, that's the thought process that we bring in on table for our customers like you. So, and we've been building this passionately and already provided such solutions to many customers across all industries across multiple geographies.
Listening with both of you is truly inspiring. Your active leadership and knowledge sharing constantly inspire our viewers, fostering growth and deepening their understanding in the ever evolving transportation industry. Your valuable contributions empower us to navigate and adapt to the changing landscape and confidence and clarity. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and insights, which continue to guide us towards success. So, before we conclude, Mr. Supratim Roy, what final thought or key insight would you like to leave with our audience and listeners? So, something that could truly resonate and make a lasting impact.
As I said, I speak for procurement a lot, and I think the main thing that I started off with these podcasts and all is to bring out the procurement side of the story. Because as everybody says, right, if you're not telling your story, then you are the bad guy in somebody else's story. So I wanted to chase that. So that is one of the key point that I want to tell the procurement side of the story. I do hope that if somebody listens to it, and especially the youngsters, they might want to consider procurement as a career, and that would be great because, as I said, I accidentally landed in procurement. It was not by choice. I think if somebody listens to this and they find it interesting, I think that would be great. That is one thought that I would like to leave it with.
Thank you so much. We are
Fantastic.
sincerely grateful, Mr. Supratim Roy, for your valuable time, understandings, and perspective which you shared with us. So once again, thank you for this insightful conversation.
Thank you so much.
We are sincerely thank you, our viewers, for their time and patience in tuning into the podcast. Your support and engagement are truly invaluable to us. We eagerly anticipate your company in our next episode, where we will explore trends in employee transportation with even deeper insights from CT. Once again, thank you and stay tuned for more insightful and thought-provoking discussions ahead.